Hello, and welcome to the Henshin Infinity podcast. Give us a follow at Henshin Infinity on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
I'm Josh, and we are starting things off with our first episode being Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always. We're going to talk about it and talk about what we liked, what we didn't like, and joined with me today are my Ranger crew. Say hello to John, the owner of Henshin Infinity.
Yes. Yo ahoy. Welcome.
Scott.
Sup?
Kathy.
Hey.
And Marlon.
Yo.
Yo to everybody.
We're a talkative bunch.
This podcast is going to be coolio. It's our first one talking about Power Rangers and a specific topic like this. We've done plenty of podcasts in the past, but this is our first one like this. Let's just dive in and start with John. How did you like the movie or the special?
Well, I enjoy, besides some nitpicks here and there, I genuinely enjoyed it, but I have more of a bias towards Billy, and there was a lot of good moments for him. So, but overall, I enjoyed it, and I want to see more of it. But there were some mistakes here and there.
All right. How about you, Scott? What did you think?
Too much CGI energy is dangerous. All joking aside, I mean, I liked it for the most part. I've got nitpicks, and I'm sure we'll get into those before we're all said and done here. My only real legitimate complaint, though, is the CGI. It made the 90s movie look good.
That it did.
But other than the CGI, I enjoyed it. The
right.
Megazord should not have tiny T-Rex arms even in Megazord form. I'm just going to put that out there.
No, it shouldn't.
How about you, Kathy?
I liked it. There was a few things I didn't like about it, like Scott was going on. The Megazord and the CGI for the individual Zords were horrifying. The only one that looked good was the Triceratops. All the other ones are horrible.
Triceratops definitely had the best model.
Yes.
How about you, Marlon?
It was all right with me. I mean, again, like everyone else, I enjoyed it. I've got my own nitpicks to it too. Yeah, like it's already been said, the CG could have been done better. The Megazord should never have baby T-Rex arms. That really just made the Mastodon look pretty damn small. I guess it was a little too cold in the Arctic.
There's a Black Ranger joke in there somewhere, and isn't it supposed to be longer?
I mean, the head was.
The trunks
Thing was wide.
Well, for me, after I first watched it, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of hated it. I guess I don't know if it has anything to do with the whole just rewatching all of season 1. But there was just a lot that I felt like there were like I said, I originally hated it. I think it's just kind of mid. There were things I liked, but a little bit more. Maybe there were some things I hated, and we'll get more into it because I'd like to just kind of go throughout the movie. We can start with the opening act and kind of just discuss what worked and what didn't work. It was awesome to see Billy be the main character after what David Yost went through on set, and coming back to the franchise after 27 years or something like that.
I mean, for all intents and purposes, it was a Billy movie.
It was,
Mhm.
definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, obviously he's one of the ones that's the most invested in the franchise at this point. And it was the base underlying story was good.
Yeah.
It made sense.
It did.
Yeah.
And I thought it was good for Billy, like just to say, like spoilers if you've already reached this far and you're listening to it. We know, and we already knew it was going to be that Trini dies, but for Trini to sacrifice herself for Billy felt like one of the most right things that they got right in that movie.
Yeah, especially considering how close the characters were. Although it does highlight one of the things in the film that I haven't decided how I feel about, because it could be seen as both a positive and negative. They definitely took advantage of the fact that they were aiming for an older audience. Like there's some Ranger brutality in this film.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
they really, really, really like to use the word kill when they're not aiming at a younger audience. I mean, I expected the theme song to be kill, kill, murder, kill, kill.
Oh, God damn it. Why?
That
all the words. Damn it, Scott.
That reminds me. I figured out why Rita was a robot. Because remember, we were talking before the special aired, it was an odd choice for them to make her a robot. And I'm not talking
Yeah.
story-wise, I'm talking behind-the-scenes-wise.
Okay.
That scene where Billy puts a power lance through her chest, that's why
Yeah.
Rita was a robot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because they didn't want to
Because
show
that would have
the
been outright murder.
Yeah, well, they didn't want to show the Rangers bodying humanoid characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Robo Rita is basically a monster.
Yeah. Which apparently the Rangers have trouble killing now.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stupid.
but that was one of my big
Nitpicks
snafus in the movie. But
Apparently they're the Mighty Morphin pacifist Rangers. Kill, kill, murder, kill, kill.
It's going to be the theme song of the podcast now.
right, at least we have an episode title.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how podcast titles are born.
Right? But
Excellent.
But as far as the rest of the scene goes, like, I was glad to see that it was like, the Rangers that couldn't make it back to film actually had a decent fight or two in it.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they used some archived voiceover, and
Jason.
yeah.
Yeah.
You thought,
that was clearly not Jason.
In Green with Evil was bad.
Again, like I said, it was that equivalent of Tommy's "No Way" in that way back then. Exactly.
And it's just so weird because they used his voice later in the episode, so it clearly wasn't a rights issue.
Right?
Probably used the wrong voiceover voiceovers.
They used alternate Jason. That wasn't Austin St. John. That's probably what they did.
Actually, thinking back on it, I wonder if maybe they used Rocky by accident.
I could see that.
Mhm.
I'll have to go back and rewatch it now because I keep on forgetting. He pitched his voice down a little bit in fight scenes back in the old show. So it might have been him.
So Trini dies, and I just want to say, like, the Pink Ranger, like, her getting to her knees was like the most, like, the only one that really felt like the gravitas of the moment. Like, even.
Okay, I was going to say, you need some context for the Pink Ranger on her knees because people are going to take that wrong if you don't.
Yeah.
All about taking it
A little
wrong.
mature audience, but not that mature.
Tommy, let me see your dragon dagger.
That being said, I really do wish Billy would have maybe thrown his helmet over the, I wish there was a little more frustration,
I
or
think
at least a
Billy,
bit more especially with Jason and Tommy.
I wish there was more emotion in that scene. It was just like she died.
I think Billy was too having everything caught up in his head. Like Rita was released, Rita got away, and just everything.
This is all my fault.
Yeah, it was and blaming himself. Like all of it all at once made it hard for him to know how to react.
And I think David Yost did a pretty good job of selling that. I think Walter didn't sell it quite as well, but his acting in the rest of the special is better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I can. David really wasn't the problem. Like when I see how they played off of each other too. But I also, like the suit actors. Like I wish Jason and Tommy's suit actor would have.
Reacted more.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
whoever they got for Kimberly's suit actor, as Twitter put it, that suit actor understood the homework. She, because when you go back and you watch the old Power Ranger show, and this is actually something that was a problem throughout the special as far as the fight scenes go. What really made the Rangers believable in the old show, despite the fact it was actually Japanese suit actors, is they understood the character's body language in fights. In the first season, the actual character actors, Austin and Twee and Amy and all of them, mimicked the Sentai characters very well. In the later seasons, the suit actors mimicked the out-of-suit characters very well so that the body language matched. And that was something that in the special, really only Kimberly's suit actor did. Like, she definitely had Kimberly's body language down. The rest of them kind of didn't bother.
it makes me wonder if they used some of the Dino Fury suit actors or stunt people or anybody
It does make me wonder. Who knows?
Right.
Does anybody have a phone handy to check who the stunt actors were? Because I kind of wonder if maybe they just got Kimberly's back because she's still active in the business. And she had a specific suit actor back in the day.
Is somebody checking that?
I'm actually...
I'm on it.
No, it was definitely not the same stunt actor.
Mm.
They used all Japanese stunt actors for the special. And the suit actors back in the series were a mix of Americans and Asians. And God, I can't remember what her name is, but Kimberly's stunt actor was a blonde woman.
Gotcha.
And was her stunt actor all the way through Mighty Morphin. Also, hilariously, Sarah Michelle Gellar's stunt actor on Buffy. They shared a stunt actor.
Makes sense to me.
Right. So the next thing I like the because I really like that Billy wanted to tell Min what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how else you gonna explain her mom dying?
Right. Not in a good way, and Min would have a lot more questions and probably have a lot more issues.
Yeah.
I could have just seen Zach being, well, you know, your mom went to the supermarket for milk and she didn't come back.
Oh. I don't think Zach would do that.
Right?
What else is he gonna do?
What does Zach want to tell her? Like Rita just killed your mom. Why did she kill my mom?
Right.
She was in the wrong place at the wrong time. The Rangers weren't there yet. It was collateral damage.
So
I mean, yeah, that could have possibly worked.
Right.
I mean, it wouldn't be too much of a lie.
But
but I mean, at the same time, there was no other attacks by Rita at that time. So
Rita just attacked them, just cornered Billy, and it was just them.
Yep.
They knew she knew
Kathy.
Billy was smart and wanted to use his brain for something, and Trini got in the way and
So
was
that
murdered.
that actually brings up an interesting discussion point with how canonically stupid the people of Earth are in the Power Rangers universe. In a universe where we have monster attacks one season and the next season people don't believe monsters exist and that's all just fantasy and urban legend. How do people still remember Rita 30 years later?
Good question.
Is Angel Grove just the most like mystically woke place on Earth? and the rest of the world are idiots?
I mean,
I can see it.
Maybe Grid Battle Force kind of like grew. They have more power companies or something. I don't know.
They have a Ranger Museum.
Well, my question about Grid Battle Force: did they do it, or does Cranston Technologies own Grid Battle Force?
Oh, good question.
One has got to be a branch of the other. There's no getting around that.
Yeah.
That, I think, is my biggest gripe about this special. It kind of answers a few questions continuity-wise, but then it raises so many other questions that it just does not answer.
Right? Yeah, why is Billy back on Earth?
He traveled. He traveled back from Aquitar, but
why?
How did he de-age? And where did he find an architect that was willing to mimic the Power Rangers Command Center as a corporate building?
The reason why he got de-aged is he went to Aquitar and drank from the Fountain of Youth. It shows it in the episode where he left that he de-aged.
But I thought he couldn't leave Aquitar, or he'd start aging again.
He probably has like some vial to where he's just drinking from it.
Oh my God!
It just has like the Fountain of Youth water in it.
Billy's a hydroholic.
Yeah.
He just found out the recipe and made it his own, and that's what he sells water through Cranston Technologies.
He carries it around in a flask and pretends to be an alcoholic to mask what it actually is. Nobody would ever suspect him as a Power Ranger because they all think he's a raging drunk.
Yep. Perfect disguise.
He has to do the Bruce Wayne thing.
Exactly.
Power Rangers, this is why you don't leave your fans to create backstories, because they will.
So,
gonna drink me some alcohol. I mean water.
Just water.
So more on with the movie. Like they went to they had the 1 year later, and they went to the graveyard, and Rita comes and attacks, and I love the rad book too.
That was solid.
Yeah,
it was a nice upgrade.
Right. I honestly thought that was one of the better scenes for how some of the Rangers got captured and stuff.
Yeah.
I really have no complaints about that scene. That was probably one of the better scenes in the whole thing.
The thing I don't like about the captured Rangers is most of them are the Lightning Collection figures. Jason, Tommy, and Kim are vinyl figures with Lightning Collection helmets.
There's a perfectly good excuse for that. Kaboom!
Explosion.
No, actually, I noticed that too, and I think I figured out why that is. Well, Tommy and Jason and Kimberly, while we do see the other figures on camera, the only ones that get a real close-up are those three, like a held-in-place close-up. And you'd have time to really give them a look over. They wanted something in there that didn't have joints.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then use the Lightning Collection figures on the ones that were just going to be kind of blinking, you'll miss it shots, because you wouldn't have time to look them over and save them money on props.
That's a good idea.
Also, pimp the Lightning Collection too.
Yep, they just should have made it so that the spell canonically turns them into figures. Then it could have been a Lightning Collection ad.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not like you can use toys back in the original in Mighty Morphin.
Oh my God.
Yeah, instead of just capturing them, and Rita holds them out like, see? Like hand waving underneath, like secretly by this.
Order now, or I'll kill these Rangers.
Oh my God, that'd be like a comic book cover. Only you can save the hero. Go to Hasbro.com and pre-order now to save your favorite heroes.
See, we do advertising too.
Jason Todd still would have died.
You still got to be careful though, because you might pre-order your Lightning Collection figures and save them, but then when you get them out of the box, you might accidentally snap their heads off.
Yeah.
We sort of do advertising here. Give us money.
Yes, Harlan has the right idea. Give us order now. Your
Give us
Lightning
sponsorships.
Hasbro Pulse.
So
Before I find it all.
now we've got the Rangers captured. So now we get into where we get into the funky Ranger stuff, where Rocky and Cat are called to Command Center.
Well, Rocky Cat and a bunch of other Rangers, but those two are the only ones called to the command center.
Well, yeah, but they all we'll start with things. There's a lot to take in with that scene because obviously I don't know what the Astro Mega ship is doing if they got called on to Earth, and Terraventure too. So
I have a headcanon for that too. The Astro Megaship now makes money by giving fans of the Power Rangers tours of iconic Power Ranger locations across the universe. Book your trip now.
Don't forget to go stop by the Dagobah system.
But for all we know, I guess Adam and Aisha could have been on the Astro Mega ship, could have been on any ship. We don't really know, but we'll get back to them in a moment. So, Cat getting the pterodactyl power coin made sense in that respect because, if we still count the ninja coins getting destroyed, that makes sense. But Rocky needing a proxy coin did not make any sense if, he was the one that was left with the power.
Well, the way that they explained it, and this is where you kind of gotta headcanon it, is that the old power coins in general didn't work. At least the ones that the crew that were last active with them didn't work. Because I read it as they just made new power coins in general, and then what the proxy coins are is the second set of coins that draw from the same source as the main ones. That's how I read that, but I took it as the coins in general got remade, which raises entire other continuity issues because supposedly you needed Zordon to do that, but that's a whole other, or Ninjor, depending on what episode you were watching.
Well, this can lead into Aisha because with the whole Alien Ranger thing, time was really funky and weird and reset, and
they called Time Force for a favor.
A lot of things. We're still trying to figure out Aisha if she came from if her and Tanya switched places. She was sent to the past, and then Tanya magically grew up in the regular timeline, and then Aisha grew up too. So
technically, Aisha should be dead.
It depends on when she was sent in the past. And I don't know. It's really weird with Ranger history because even Tanya could have been Mighty Morphin Yellow.
Mm-hmm.
With the way that if you rechange, they reset time and where they would be. I don't know.
Asked Time Force for a favor.
A lot of favors.
Keep it simple with our headcanons.
Yeah, but then how do they remember Aisha? Because her history was supposedly rewritten. Technically, she retconned herself out of existence.
Wait a minute. Now I don't remember the exact episode of Dino Thunder, but didn't they have the history of the Rangers, and did they show Aisha there?
They did.
Yes.
I think so.
That gets into a whole nother question though. How was Tommy recording all that, and did the other Rangers know he was?
Recording it more likely.
Because if it was Tommy recording it, and even if it was Zordon recording it, it kind of recast one of them as a creepy basement dweller.
It would have to be Zordon because he really had nothing else to do.
He was stuck in the tube all
Well,
New England just records everything.
we canonically know that Zordon had a video link to Kimberly's bedroom. I'm just saying.
Well, we were already
Well,
certain
probably her
Zed did
shower.
too.
Yeah, but that's in character for Zed.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. He's a creepy
You
perv.
can just see everything with a theme. This is Zed vision.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to all the reasons you should never try to make Power Rangers for adults.
Sponsored by Zed Vision.
So
We're getting way off base here.
yeah, I was gonna say, with all of that aside, we'll just say Aisha's back, and we can get into the whole thing about Adam being a part of SPA because he met Bridge, who was SPD Red, and
Mhm.
Tommy maybe told him something, and who knows how it all came to be, but, you know, bootstrap paradox for Adam working on SPA.
Yeah, I kind of want to switch back to Aisha for a minute. I
Okay.
think the reason why the Rangers remember her is because of the Morphin grid.
That's
They
the
weren't
why-
affected by the time shift where everybody else was.
Well, I mean that does kind of tie in with men later in the movie too, with what goes on with her.
Well,
So
and
I guess
that actually tracks with how the Alien Rangers miniseries handled it too, because that's the reason when they returned back to kids they could remember being adults.
Yeah.
yeah.
So that tracks. That tracks.
Yeah, it does track.
Oh my God, did we just make sense out of Power Rangers continuity?
We
did.
certainly
God.
did.
Go Kathy.
Woohoo! Ivy full.
So, now we got okay. They're all morphed. They're taking care of, you know, the monster, Snizzard and the Minotaur.
Yep.
Yeah, Minotaurus.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Talk about noodles. Let
I
Rocky
just-
have food.
Rocky was great.
He was. I just want to say
It was the best part.
I didn't catch it when we watched it, but like I'm so glad he got a redemption on the kick.
Flip kick. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm just glad that they kept his personality growth from Zio, because the words work. Because in Mighty Morphin, Rocky was basically a suit warmer, but when they moved into Zio, he developed an actual personality, and they kept that. And I like that.
Yeah.
Me too. Now, I
Yeah.
wish Kat had a personality in that episode of the movie, let
The-
alone any kind of emotion.
She did in one place. When they do her morphing sequence, her morph definitely has "Don't make me count to 3" soccer mom energy.
Hey, she's a karate mom.
Karate mom.
For real, like, let's
Yes.
just take a moment to understand Kat as, like, a late 40s mother who her husband is kidnapped and she has to basically abandon her son to go save her husband and save the world. So she's just like, I'm over this shit. It's my weekend. I'm supposed to.
That was exactly it. She handled the whole situation the way a soccer mom would, by being completely, totally over this shit.
So Kat was great in her own right by just being that kind of mom. And it was great.
Eh.
Well, at least Zed wasn't there to be depowered by Cat.
Her
Then
sassy
later.
karate mom.
Oh
At least
boy.
we got another mention of JJ.
Yeah. Kind of wish we could have
really
seen
wish
him,
they
but
would've-
That will probably be for the next Power Ranger special that's about the death of Tommy, I'm sure.
Mhm.
Either
Hmm.
I'm okay if they don't kill Tommy in the sense like we don't need that same story. I'd like to see maybe he just passed the powers
Tired.
on.
That would be preferable, yes.
Yeah.
Because we don't.
Mhm.
I don't feel the need to retell this story. You know what I mean? Because I feel like that would be, there would be a lot of the same element.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's already been done.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind. I don't know if they, especially with them just mentioning JJ. I don't know if he has a sister, but I still would like Jenna Frank to be a ranger, one of Tommy's powers, and them JJ and her be sisters, and maybe one be green, one be white. Mighty Morphin. That would be cool.
Well,
Yeah.
You mean brother and sister?
there's one of two possibilities. Either JJ does not have a sister in continuity, at least as of yet, or he does, and Kat and Tommy clearly have a favorite child.
Damn. That's messed up.
Could be. And what was your question, Kathy? I know you were.
Oh, I thought you said sisters, and I'm like, wait, no. JJ's a dude.
Yeah, no.
You don't know how he identifies.
I
Maybe
also wish
JJ
you
could
would
be a
actually
girl.
give him a name. JJ is so stupid.
Well,
Like, what does it stand for?
I mean, there
Well,
was.
No.
Anytime
never
somebody says
know.
Jason Jr., I'm like, why Junior?
Oh, there's a player named JJ Watt. He just retired from football.
Mhm.
Looks like JJ. I know it's like. I think it's like. I forget. It's like two J names that are just. It's just a nickname that he probably got and then is kind of just sticking with it.
Okay, headcanon time. It does stand for Jason Jr. to acknowledge Tommy and Jason's gay love affair.
I mean, I could have seen either a first name or a middle name being Jason. I mean,
Gung
just
ho
Tommy.
indeed.
It could be
Definitely
Jason
Jason.
Jordan Oliver or something like that.
It could,
Yeah.
it could be, yeah.
There's
Oh God,
there's definitely going to be something for it. But
one of these decades.
so past JJ. So let's talk about Zach. Zach had some, he was the guardian now
Yeah.
and gave up a political career.
And
I have
also
to
a
say,
family.
I think that's probably the most unrealistic part of the special because yes, first
It
of all, we don't know if he had a family or not, but we should assume he did. But his political career, like most politicians, just take their kids around with them because if you're going to be a single parent, that's about the best career you can have for supporting a kid.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Right? Like how they didn't even really get into like what political office. Like there's
Yeah, they did. They said he was a they said he was a congressman.
But okay, so I mean, okay, so if he was a congressman, I mean, yeah, you've got to go to Washington.
Mm-hmm.
But like he could still run for other political office if he had like a family emergency or something like that. And
Well, I mean, Zach was always likable in Mighty Morphin, so makes sense.
Mhm.
Like it makes sense. He could probably get himself elected again.
Well, and he was the most outgoing of the bunch too. So politics works for him.
well, and being a part of that peace conference.
Oh yeah, that definitely helped.
Yeah.
That's probably what gave him the start to it.
Oh yeah.
There really was a conference in this continuity.
No comic book continuity here.
Kind of makes me wonder what Trini was doing as a career because they never mentioned that, and she
Right.
was. Either one of two things was true. A, she was very clearly doing well for herself because she owned a home and was supporting a kid by herself,
Mhm.
or Billy or Zach were her sugar daddy. One of the two.
Well,
Mm-mm.
Billy could. I mean, honestly, I could see her as an environmental lawyer or something with the environment because that was probably the biggest thing with her character. She
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
environmentalist nature type thing. So I mean, I can definitely see Billy supporting her and even working for Cranston Technologies to make sure that they're environmentally friendly. So
Oh, I would absolutely assume any company Billy starts to be environmentally friendly.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I could see her that she worked for Cranston Technologies too. So
I'd hope so. He'd have to face the wrath of Trini if it wasn't.
right.
Are you
Well,
kidding? She
and-
probably still did well, she probably still did the same thing as she did back in the day, explaining everything from Billy talk to normal person talk, so everyone understood what he was going on about.
She's his translator for his employees. Okay, so we've got a whole setup here. Billy runs the company and hides the Ranger operation underneath. Trini interacts between Billy and the employees. Zach is in Congress so he can cover up for all the shady dealings that it takes to put a nuclear command center beneath a technology company. There we go. We got it.
Yep.
And the real truth of it is, Min doesn't have a father. They made her in a lab.
Oh no!
I
So
mean,
the
and
I
answer,
always thought this.
so the
Like
answer
that?
is, Trini is Min's mother, but who's the father? Both Billy and Zach.
I was gonna say Ricky.
You mean Richie?
Oh yeah, Richie. Yeah.
Yeah, he
That's
kind
what I
of
meant.
just like evaporated
Dennis.
off screen. Yeah.
I,
Oh, that's really sad when you know the behind the scenes story of how that happened, but that's a conversation for another day.
Mm.
yeah, I did it. I guess we'll see about Min's father if they continue off the story and pass, you know, do more with those Mighty Morphin suits and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone wants them to do more, so.
But I was gonna say, other than Zach, let's get into this part because this was the one that bugged me the most. Them trapping the monsters.
Oh God.
It made no
That was
sense.
the dumbest part in that whole thing.
I get the
Out of
message that they were
character for
trying to
them.
do. I get the message they were trying to do, but yeah, it definitely didn't work.
Mm.
Like what? I don't ever remember them trapping a monster. If they did, it was to destroy it because they knew the monster was still going to be a menace. And they've dealt with monsters in the past. Usually, if they knew that the snizzard was the problem, destroy the snizzard, and that should kind of fix things. Because I mean, monsters have we had that something happened and then they destroyed the thing, like.
Well, see, this is why you don't try to grow Power Rangers up in a 55-minute special. Because if they wanted to have the deeper conversation on the morals of killing the monsters, because they used to body the monsters on a weekly basis back in the day. And
Oh,
there was
yeah.
no discussion of it because they were the good guys, the monsters were the bad guys, and that was that. And the comics have had some deeper exploration on the morals and stuff like that. But the series or the special wasn't interested in and didn't really have the screen real estate to take the time to explore a topic like that if they were going to do it that way.
Actually, where it really, really worked and had the character in it more, and it's back to the bootstrap paradox. But if Adam and Aisha had thought about that, because SPG does that, they capture the monster and they judge him and stuff. So I mean, that would make sense if that was they had explored those characters a little bit more. We all know that they were a waste in that movie. It sucks.
Well, that's the thing. I get that they wanted to be a part of it, and I'm glad the characters are there. Adam, in particular, is a favorite of mine. But they didn't serve any actual purpose. And I know that, it's like, oh, well, they're the ones that are starting up SPD. Why them? That makes no sense. Neither one of them have any connection to space whatsoever.
Well, and especially when in the SPD special they said that Tommy had stuff to do with it, and so did Ethan, Kira, and Connor. I forget if Trent did too, but I have to imagine.
I do think they made a connection back to Billy on it too, but not Adam and Aisha.
Mm-hmm.
But like at least like I mean if some of the others were there too, like I could believe it, but it's like just weird, especially when you show them in the trailer and like that literally like their only scene.
Well,
Right.
my gut feeling is that because Hasbro clearly likes continuity, they clearly want to tie the Ranger continuity together. My theory is that they're probably setting up for something that ties into SPD and just decided to put it there when they could have given Adam and Aisha literally any other role that would have made sense.
I mean, we can only hope that maybe there's going to be like a Power Rangers SPD like special in 2 years when they should be taking, like the show should be taking place.
Well, especially given that Cosmic Fury is clearly going to take place mostly off Earth.
Yeah.
I could see them coming back to Earth and something having changed that led to SPD while they were gone. Like there's a good opportunity for some continuity there if they want to do it. It's just that Adam and Aisha being the ones to do it does not make sense.
Only with Adam's connection with Bridge, like meeting Bridge back in Once a Ray, or the whatever the Overdrive special was called.
Yeah, Once a Ranger.
Yeah.
That is literally his
Unless-
only tie to SPD.
Well, and that definitely would make it a bootstrap paradox.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like he's got as much of a tie to SPD as Tommy does. So
Yeah. Now, see, if they could have gotten Matt Austin back to reprise the role of Bridge and had him there too, that would have explained the whole thing away without even any dialogue. But I don't think he acts anymore. I think he moved over to directing.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So I think we've talked about like we talked about the trap. It really didn't work. They got creative with how to like not morph and all that other stuff, but you would think that the Alpha would have. I mean, didn't Alpha contact everybody to not morph anymore? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I mean not just the Mighty Morphins, but everybody. So it's like it's
Right.
shocking.
We know how universally good Rangers are at listening to their mentors.
Right? I mean, the worst offenders are definitely the Lost Galaxy Rangers because they were the most captured ones.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, to be fair, the Lost Galaxy ones really didn't have a mentor. They had an alpha.
Well, yeah, and he was supposed to kind of function as sort of the mentor, but that's about as close as they got.
Yeah.
We should talk about the juice bar scene because that's the one that didn't work for me.
Right. First thing I want to say about the juice bar is the fact that the way that the trailer was setting up. I hated that was like kind of like the bob and weave or whatever, the zig and zag of. I thought there was going to be time travel involved.
Yeah, and I was hoping there would be time travel involved. That whole scene would have been fixed with time travel, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I had two big issues with that scene, and one of them is the fact that canonically the juice bar should not be there. And that's not just, we think it went away. We saw it get changed on screen. It was bought by a different owner and remodeled twice, I think, on screen.
It was definitely the. Well, I know Lieutenant Stone had it, and it was still the juice bar. But then somebody, I forgot her name, but in space,
there was a surf spot.
Yeah. And at least as far as like them getting the name Ernie's, like we know that in Forever Red, like Tommy owned it, Bulk and Skull managed it, and I think that was it the last time we like saw any connection to the.
Well, and even if you want to use the excuse that they decided to just go back to the naming, the architecture and the paint jobs and everything about that place were so unapologetically 90s that they would not do that today. It had Taco Bell vibes. They wouldn't have gone back to that.
Billy bought it and repainted it 90s style.
That really brings in some midlife crisis stuff for Billy. And we all know that Jason is the midlife crisis ranger. But the other thing, oh my God, Zach and his hip hop keto.
That was the best.
I loved it.
I mean, I get it as a reference because it was part of his character, but that was the moment where you saw Walter's age, because he clearly ain't danced in a lot of years.
I do wish he would have been like. I wish he would have had a little bit of an old man thing. That hurts the back or something.
That was the moment I found Min the most relatable, because I'm just like, yeah, I'm cringing right along with you.
Yeah.
Well, and like you could just tell, like I get they had to have the reference, but it was not what he used to be able to pull off.
Mm-mm.
Well, but I mean, he's much older, but it's still pretty good for what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's older and had a desk job.
I also love that when Zach's doing the banter with the putties in that scene, Rocky's just standing behind him with a frown on his face, nodding and practically pointing. Yeah, what he said. Yeah, what he said. that was Rocky's best "I'm the Beta Ranger" moment ever. Oh my God.
So we already talked about the Zord. We can talk about them a little bit more. It was an ugly CGI for the Megazord.
It was out of proportion, and to quote Emily from Samurai, it's so shiny. I don't know how. Go ahead. What's
the
that?
colors look a little off too.
They were, and some of it, I think we can hand wave as Billy rebuilt them, and maybe he just decided to, pimp the ride a little bit. Also,
by giving the
Go ahead.
Go ahead. By giving the pterodactyl some steroids?
By giving the pterodactyl some steroids, it also gives credence to why the Triceratops looks the best.
True.
Yeah.
Hell, we can even explain away the shortening of the Mastodon's arms as Billy overcompensating because he's jealous of Zach. Just putting that out there.
True. I mean, they were on a football team together, so they probably had a shower in the same locker room. I don't know how they were football players and Rangers and all this other stuff, but
that's
a
whole other conversation.
Yes. That we can talk about in another podcast. But I will say, one thing I was disappointed about, and one thing and there's another thing I enjoyed. But first, my disappointment was we didn't get, and I know it wouldn't have worked as well without Kimberly, but I was sad we didn't get like the individual in the Zords, that because they always used to do that with the.
Yeah.
That was a budget thing though, because they would have had to have built 5 more cockpits.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least one more that they could redress as each Ranger.
That's true. That would have been wouldn't have been too bad if you would have just used the green screen for the back. And
that's true, but they don't have King Oger money.
They do not. That being said, I did like the Megazord cockpit. I liked the how they used the power coin for the crystal.
Mm-hmm.
That was a cool,
Well, that's what they used back in the day too. When they were controlling it, they were using the crystals.
It's a nice little attention to detail that they remembered that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you didn't really see the power crystal in the Megazord in the in the original. That's just how they powered it up, and then it kind of like was just a generic,
Well,
like joystick or something.
Their gloves were it was a crystal joystick, but their gloves were wrapped around it most of the time. You couldn't see it real well.
Right?
Yeah.
I never really noticed it. This you could notice. Like this was.
Well,
You know,
that cockpit kind of underscores my point about the CGI. Power Rangers does great stuff when it uses practical sets and effects. That cockpit was beautiful. The outside was not.
Mhm.
No. Oh, God.
My
And what?
biggest concern with that is what it means for Power Rangers going forward, because Hasbro is clearly dead set on doing their own thing and getting away from the Sentai. I'm very worried about the Zord battles of the future.
At least they're taking Q Ranger footage for the Zords and Cosmic Fury.
That's true. Doesn't match their power sets at all, but at least we'll get good Zord fights.
Yeah, that's the interesting part.
Yeah.
My thought is, why the hell was Snizzord giant when he landed on the moon, and then she made him grow even bigger? Like he
Oh, yeah, I
grew big,
noticed that,
but he
too.
was already big when he landed.
There's a perfectly
Yeah.
good explanation for that.
Explosion.
Boom.
Parts would it be either way? Boom, budget, whatever you want to call it. That's it.
Well, the fight was
Well-
on the moon because of the budget.
Oh, God, even the way Cedric went down was bad.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Like, come on. They basically flipped over and stabbed it in the side. And that was it.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
no.
wasn't even a sword slash.
Was it? I didn't really see a slash. I saw a poke in the side.
We were all talking there. I said it wasn't even a splashy sword slash.
Ah.
Oh, okay. It really wasn't.
I will say I like the weapons. I'm glad that I do wish we would have had the power blaster or something again. You know.
The power cannon?
No, the
Yeah.
Power Blaster.
Yeah, but instead we got first Billy stabbing Rita through the chest, and then Rock stabbing, was it Rita or a putty? Like he did like
No,
No,
the
Minotaurus.
the Minotaur in such a brutal way that Cat called him out on it.
Right?
Yeah.
We
Oh,
are.
great.
Oh no, Zach's like we can't get revenge, but we're gonna totally brutalize that. You know,
He
our
did
enemies.
his noodles.
That's okay. Billy pulled a power blaster on Rita.
Right?
Yeah.
Guns don't kill people. Nerd motherfuckers with guns kill people.
But that being said, I wanted to save one part we really didn't talk about, and that was like Min's whole story.
And
We really haven't talked
Yeah.
about her.
Oh, I have thoughts on Min.
I do. I have some thoughts on Min too. But like, I thought she was good towards the end. I know she was training to become a Power Ranger, and like I feel like that could have been a lesson that was talked throughout that year of grieving, not getting
Right.
revenge, but you know what it takes to become a Power Ranger.
Yeah, but you have to
Yeah.
understand it's a TV show, so character developments only happen on camera.
Yeah,
Yep.
I know. But yeah, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but she wouldn't be the first Power Ranger looking for revenge, right?
Not even
Nope.
close.
uh,
I mean, first one that comes to mind is Andros.
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
Maya.
Jen.
Jen.
Yep.
That was
Even-
actually a
even
big
Leo.
part of her. That was a season arc for Jen.
Yeah.
Hunter and Blake.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The Mighty
Technically, a
Morphin,
win that just entirely, wasn't it?
Huh?
What was that, Marlon?
What, technically, the Wind Ninjas in general wasn't they? Because
No,
I
the
mean,
Wind Ninjas were just trying to rescue their
Mentor.
classmates, but
And
yeah,
the Thunder Ninjas were on a warpath for revenge.
yeah,
okay,
the Mighty Morphin powers have a special revenge. You can't be out for revenge caveat to them.
Well, the franchise has always played fast and loose with the rules, and the Mighty Morphins always had more rules than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yeah.
did. But they broke those rules sometimes too,
Yeah, they did.
especially the escalation one.
I think the only other team that actually had pretty much the same rules as the Mighty Morphins, and it was because Disney was intending to go for a soft reboot at the time and decided not to, was Ninja Storm. The Wind Ninjas had pretty much the same rules as the Mighty Morphins.
I think Dino Thunder did too, because Tommy was probably doing the same rules Zordon had in place.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Like,
story-wise, yeah, but Ninja Storm actually did an arc on it.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, you could also kind of throw in the SPD Rangers because if there's,
Oh no,
that's what they're trained to do.
the only rules that SPD has is girls can't be leaders.
You gotta
Mhm.
you gotta love that Ninja Storm was the one about having rules and hiding your identity with the gigantic brace on them.
Yeah,
wait. Wasn't the Alpha Squad member of the Red Ranger? Wasn't she a girl?
Yeah, you see what happened with
Yeah.
them.
Yep.
That's
Evil.
why the place.
Sky was right.
Not every person can lead. It doesn't matter what your gender or what or
Exactly.
robot.
Yes.
You just have to be a competent person.
But yeah, let's not minimize the Min situation.
Yeah. But I mean, I did like her. I liked her towards the end.
She grew on me. And I hate to say this because I ended up following her on Instagram, which I do with a lot of the Ranger actors, just because I like to keep up with them. I don't understand why she was cast on a purely casting level, but I hate to say that because she's super enthusiastic for the franchise. Like, she's super proud of being on Power Rangers, but she can't act. And while I'm sure she has martial arts background, there's a difference between practical martial arts and choreographed martial arts. And she can't sell the choreographed martial arts, which is what all the original Mighty Morphins got cast on, was their ability to sell choreography, because none of them could act either at the beginning. But I can't figure out why she got cast, because she can't act and she can't fight. And that's what bothered me about her primarily.
She could grunt.
Not even that was. I mean, I'm not. This is a family-friendly podcast, so I'm not going to say what it sounded like, but it didn't sound like martial arts grunts.
No, it did not.
What did that happen?
I mean, I didn't mind her, but I also think she had a 40-minute special. She was in a 40-minute special. Got maybe she was in half of it, and
Yeah.
and we're going off actors who have been at least acting in something for at least the last 30 years off and on. So,
And that's fair.
I'd
like to see more of her so she could grow more as an actress and see more of Min later.
Well,
Yeah.
for her, I hope we see more of her, just because it would really suck for her to be that excited about the franchise and to only get to play the character one time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
right.
I do have one nitpick as far as the story goes with her, and this is a big what the fuck moment in that special.
Mhm.
Rita hits Min with the same blast that vaporized Trini, and let's
Yep.
keep in mind that blast vaporized Trini. Like, there wasn't even enough left over to call it cremated. How is it that had that effect on Trini, morphed at full power, and didn't even scratch Min, who wasn't morphed and didn't have
Because
access to powers yet.
it hit the morpher and not her.
It hit the top of her head to the tip of her toes. The morpher was just in the middle there.
The morpher said, "I fucked up once. I'm not doing that again."
Pretty much.
I do wish that it would have kind of like projected maybe an image of Trini
Train, maybe.
Spectre
Yeah,
or
Tracy
something.
Spirit might have projected
I would have bought that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Or even like the spirit of the saber-tooth tiger itself protecting her. You know, something that would have made sense.
You could have
Mhm.
put
But
you
budget.
could have put a transparent suit actor overlaid onto the thing with Trini's voice, and it would have
Yep.
worked.
No.
I mean, I always imagine it's like, may the power protect you, and that was kind of what it was doing. I just wish that we would have, it could have been a little more symbolized.
Well, the power needed to protect Trini.
Yeah.
I hated that blast when it hit her because it looked like she was going to just fall over
Mm-hmm.
and like
Mhm.
not fall over the cliff, just fall down. And all of
Yeah.
a sudden she
Yeah.
starts spinning and then.
And
Like-
yet another high quality Netflix CGI moment.
What the hell bull crappery was that?
Oh, I did one thing I forgot. I like the small little Easter egg for Vulcan Skull.
That was
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
have
I
to,
want
I have to
sandwiches.
wonder if they were asked to come back or not.
Right?
There's clearly no bad blood because they've both been advertising the special on Instagram all week.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I mean, isn't like Jason Narvey still a teacher or something? He might have just been busy.
I don't know if he's still actively teaching or not. I do know, though, that he's been active in the franchise a lot over the past few years.
Might have just been hard to get to New Zealand.
Might have been.
I can imagine if maybe one wasn't able to make it, the other wasn't going to go. It was basically all or nothing with them.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
with Falcon Skull,
Package
it
deal.
used to be, because we see what happened in Samurai when that wasn't the case.
Or in Lost Galaxy.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just happy that Bulk and Skull are now working together on something, and that Skull didn't just leave him out to dry.
Yeah.
I think we just need to pretend Samurai didn't happen. The continuity works so much better if Samurai didn't happen.
I like when Min went to go take the rad bug.
Mm-hmm.
She passed Tommy's truck, Kim's car, and Jason's bike.
Oh, is that what those were?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because in the Ninja Steel episode with Tommy, you
Mhm.
see him pull up, or his robot version pull up in that pickup.
Well, and I think he had something like that in another episode too.
Yeah,
And
and
that-
then the
from
bike
Forever.
was from Forever Red,
Okay.
and then a random car for Kim.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know why it was green.
She
Well,
still had.
Well,
Those are different.
she likes to ride things that are green.
But apparently not marry them.
Well, she left. She made her choice to break up with Tommy. She couldn't handle the long distance relationship, and then Cat happened. So she's got nobody to blame but herself.
Can't reach the dragon dagger from long distance.
Let's just be fair. I mean, Tommy did some growing, and Cat preferred the Saba.
Oh my god. Well, they did say that the Zeo powers grow over time.
Right?
Oh no! Oh my!
Notice you notice how much longer every other weapon Tommy has after the Dragon Dagger?
Right?
well, true. Once he got the Brachio, yeah.
He had 2 swords in Turbo.
Yep.
Oh
He
my
did.
God.
Oh boy.
We went down a very dirty road.
I'm not gonna lie. Like when I saw the Green Ranger suit, I definitely got sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the effect of when they got captured. At least when it was like making it to where they can't move, and all of a sudden the things that kind of threw it off for me when the snakes or whatever those things were wrapped around them.
Yeah, I think it was
Them.
supposed to be snakes.
We call that
Yeah.
we call that hentai.
It was bad CGI.
Well, I mean,
Out of the monster
it's-
designs, I think the Minotaur looked better.
the robot idea worked for the Minotaur better. I do have to wonder. Like, I get that Snizzard was one of the picks for story reasons. That makes sense to me. I don't get why the Minotaur was.
Right?
Like,
Yeah.
on the long list, the long top 100 list of Power Rangers monsters, the Minotaur is definitely one.
Right?
That exists.
I would have picked like Bones or the Nasty Knight or something if you just wanted a big threatening monster. The
Yeah.
cyber.
King Sphinx.
King Sphinx would have been perfect. Much more iconic.
I think they should have really used Eye Guy instead of Snizzard.
Oh, Eye Guy would have been great thematically because it could have been his eyes floating around that were finding the Rangers.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, Snizzard, I think, kind of got more popular later on, because wasn't that Bryan Cranston who
Yeah.
voiced
Yeah.
him?
Yeah.
And that's probably why they used Snizzard, is because of the Bryan Cranston connection.
Right? I mean, I guess they could have used his second monster, because he did another one. I forget which one, but...
Yeah.
Oh, there is definitely one big mastodon in the room that we got to talk about that we haven't yet. How ass shitty that morph sequence was.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That was a Sears Photo Center morph sequence. There's no getting around it.
One, it looked like they gained weight in that, and some of them aged horribly during the morphin sequences.
Well, and the thing of it is, because part of it was that they were so zoomed in on them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It took me a little bit to pick apart why that morph sequence didn't work for me, and there were several reasons. One of them was the obvious "ooh so shiny" morphers. I don't know why Power Rangers still thinks that you have to basically coat your CGI in anal lube, but they do. But then on top of it, they were so zoomed in, and it finally hit me what the real problem with the effect is. The big problem with it is that if you go back and you watch the original morph sequence, it works because of how the actors are lit. It's shot on a green screen, and they're supposed to be surrounded by the energy of their morpher. And if you look at the way they're lit from both sides with shadow down the center. It's very subtle shadow, like it's not really dark or anything, but they're brighter on the sides than they are in the front, which is what that would look like if you were surrounded by energy. And when they lit the actors for this morph sequence, they lit them from directly in front. And that's part of what's aging them up, because the flaws in their skin are more noticeable that way. But it also creates a weird disconnect between how they interact with the backdrop.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, for me, I know they did it later on when like Tommy became White Ranger and and then the ninja stuff, but I prefer when you don't see the clothes, when the energy's like.
It does work better. It does work better without the clothes. Yeah. Well, that's
When
also
it's just the head and the arms.
That's also partially because, and this is something the special completely ignored, they're not supposed to be jutting the morphers forward. They're supposed to be reaching upward with the morphers.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
That was pretty much it. I liked. I mean, it was nice to see Adam and Aisha not on a screen. I mean, we can only hope that there's some continuation of whatever they dropped in,
Yeah.
for the future. I, for one, I know we mentioned JJ, but I do want the Green Ranger. Like, I want Tommy's morpher, like the Master Morpher, like whatever, passed on to JJ, and I'd like to not just him, but I'd like to see some other like if who knows if they have like kids or nieces and nephews or whatever. Like I'd like to see the other Rangers, pass their powers too, because we could use a new generation of Mighty Morphin if they want to keep the brand going, and then they that could be like a whole second Netflix series. Like if they want to, maybe one series doing their own thing and another one tied to Sentai, that would be fine with me.
I really think this, coupled with Cosmic Fury, how these two projects go is going to determine a lot about the future of Power Rangers, I think.
Yeah.
I would rather see them do like a new age of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers with them each picking a successor, if they were going to do a reboot of like Power Rangers, that it's Mighty Morphin again, but it's continuing.
I will point out
that
they basically did that, and it's called Turbo 2.0. But no, I get what you're saying. I definitely do not want a reboot.
Yeah. I just want basically what Next Generation Star Trek was. We with the passing of the torch, you've got Min already set, you've got JJ for the sixth, the Green Ranger, and then or White Ranger or both, and go on, or unless they, like I said, they do something with Jenna Frank and make one white, one green, whatever.
Well, if they bring her in, I would like to see JJ be white and her be green. Just because, love it or not, Green was Tommy's most iconic role, and that should go to his actual daughter.
Yeah.
And I mean, there is a point you could actually argue certain things about which one, and maybe they could even switch at times. It would be, I don't know what they want to do. I mean, at least you'd have, I don't know what they would do with Pink. Also, another one that I know that JDF always wanted, and I'd be okay with it if they wanted Jenna to be the Red Ranger.
I could see them doing that. Because Hasbro is very bent on a female Red anyway, which I think is a good thing. But I have that's another thing that I think is going to maybe change based on how Cosmic Fury does. Because if Cosmic Fury does really good with Amelia as Red, it might be a bit before we see another male Red.
I'd be fine with that.
As long as we get some male Pinks and female Blacks.
Yeah, I agree. And it's overdue, too, because Amelia will be the first permanent female Red. Not the first, because we've had some side Reds and temporary Reds that were women. Yeah. But the first permanent female Red in the history of a 35-year franchise when it's all said and done. So,
I mean, at least we had a female leader within the first few seasons.
Mm-hmm.
But again, temporary, at least as far as on screen goes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, true. I mean, I'm not talking about the Alien Rangers. At least they had like 10 episodes.
Yeah. Oh, I know you are. It's still technically temporary.
So that's as many episodes as Amelia's getting, though.
That's true.
God, it sucks that Cosmic Fury is only 10 episodes.
But it just feels like a waste.
I think it's only 10 episodes because it's an experiment in a lot of ways. Because first of all, it's the first time they've ever done 100% their own suits. It's the first permanent female Red, and it's the first time in 25 plus years that they've kept a cast for more than one season.
Yeah.
So it's a big experiment.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if it does well, first of all, not only will we likely see more female Reds, we might see that cast stick around even longer. It wouldn't shock me.
I'd be okay with that.
The last time that we had we've had actors who have gone from different season to different season, like John Tui and stuff. But the last time I think we had somebody who was the same character from one season to exactly the next for more than a guest spot was Corone. Like, that's been a long time.
Well, and the thing is, I know why Saban switched to that model because it's cheaper. Because the longer you keep actors, the more they can ask for.
Yeah.
Especially now that Power Rangers is back to being a union show again. But if you're going to build a brand, which Hasbro clearly wants to do, consistency is a thing. Part of what hurt Power Rangers back in the day and why it started to decline was the rotating cast. And you can practically track it just by lining up the ratings with the date that the characters changed. Every time we rotated out a Ranger, the ratings went down.
I mean, I stopped watching after Lost Galaxy, and the only reason I really stuck with Lost Galaxy was honestly because it was still in the whole space, and I was still like, ooh, Power Rangers in space, they're going to go out into space. And Bulk, and I don't even remember fully watching all of Lost Galaxy. There were probably episodes I missed. So the fact that, I mean, that's really, really important.
I can tell you the exact episode that I quit watching back when I was a kid. The Turbo 1.0 to 2.0 handoff.
I stopped watching a little bit because I was sad. But yeah, I can see a lot of people who probably did dip out.
I know that Turbo 2.0 was better than 1.0, but I didn't watch the show for the robots and the Ranger suits so much as I watched for those characters. And there was enough carryover from one season to another at that point for me to stick with it. But when they just straight up retired the whole team, I'm like, time for me to shut it off.
I mean, I think I lasted longer than all of you guys. I stopped watching until I think midway through Dino Thunder because they put it from regular TV onto cable.
Which is hilarious.
I didn't have cable.
Which is hilarious because Dino Thunder is where I came back.
I didn't have a choice, so
yeah.
I came back for Wild Force, and then I remember seeing for the Forever Red, and then I swear I must have been watching that or something that they were getting ready for Ninja Storm. I think around that time. I remember Ninja Storm was the one that I got back into.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, I remember when Ninja Storm was on the air and seeing the toys in the stores and stuff, and commenting, "Man, that's how bad Power Rangers have gotten. We're just straight up doing ninjas again." The irony is, when I went back and watched the season since then, Ninja Storm's one of my favorite seasons.
No, that was a good season. I'm glad I came back to it because I only missed 3 seasons. I think it was Lightspeed Rescue,
Time Force, and Wild Force.
So
that's what's really funny. Most of the seasons that I missed ended up being favorites. I mean, they were all good except Wild Force.
I think middle school was really when I stopped watching. I actually got back into it at high school. So that's
I remember watching.
You couldn't tell anybody what you were watching,
right? Yeah. I remember watching a lot on like Jetix when Disney had it, reruns, because I remember watching all of Wild Force because that's how I knew the plot points of Gal Ranger.
I tried to watch Wild Force when I went back and rewatched older series. My breaking point was the introduction of Merrick. Because first of all, none of the Wild Force actors are very good actors at all. Like, hands down, acting-wise, that is the second worst season of Power Rangers from an acting standpoint. And then when Merrick came in as the Sixth Ranger, his acting was so off that I couldn't.
Oh, Merrick was my favorite. I loved Merrick. I thought he was the coolest thing when I saw him.
The concept of the character is cool, and the suit is cool, and I did enjoy the Zenaku arc, but his actor was so rough. But go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask, what is the worst acted season by you?
Oh, I was actually just going to put that out there, because there's a tie. There's a tie. It's a tie between Samurai and Ninja Steel. They are equally bad in terms of acting.
I thought Ninja Steel. I mean, Samurai wasn't as bad. I also. But my least favorite one, I thought acting wise, was Operation Overdrive.
Oh, see, I didn't think Operation Overdrive was that bad as far as acting goes. I didn't care for the story, but I didn't think the acting was bad.
It had some bad characters, but I think I remember liking parts of it, but I'd have to rewatch it.
Yeah. But we've gotten off topic.
Oh,
Yes,
gee,
we do.
we never do that.
No.
Us go on tangents? Never. The shit you say.
Power Rangers Tangent Force.
Too much tangent energy is dangerous.
No, we could seriously just do, a random. If we're successful and we do way more episodes, we can totally do just let's randomly talk about Power Ranger stuff, and it would be the perfect podcast for us.
Oh, that gives me a great idea for an episode, but we're gonna need alcohol. Lots of it.
You mean alcohol or water?
Billy water.
The Aquatarian Billy water.
There we go. Billy's Aquatarian Youth Hooch. There we go. And this is why we don't like Power Rangers.
I mean, I write Power Rangers. This is fan fiction.
Oh my god.
We do it all. Power Rangers Tangent Force. Fan fiction, youth hooch, and we do advertising too.
I kind of want to just do an entire episode of our bad headcanons.
That could be fun.
That'd be fun. I think I'd talk more. Because I got some weird, fucked up headcanons.
So, any last thoughts on the movie?
The 6 out of 10.
I'd give it a solid 7.
I think Rocky and Zach were like the biggest draw for me. I liked their growth and acting a lot better than everybody else's.
Rocky was great.
Yeah, I enjoyed Rocky a lot, and obviously I loved Billy, and it was great seeing Billy as a leader, Billy impaling Robo Rita, and just Billy kicking ass like how I imagined he always did in my head.
The Gold Ranger?
Yes.
I enjoy Billy. I thought of as far as aging up and what they'd be like at this point in their lives, I think I believed him and Rocky the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rocky made sense because I could totally see him just going out and being everyday street level hero doing rescue stuff. That makes sense for him. Billy is what happens when you're a Power Ranger too long. And you go to that dark place and you start bodying bitches.
I mean, somebody was stuck on Aquatar, probably couldn't help with the legendary, like the when Zordon got destroyed, he probably felt a lot of regret, and even more regret after training.
He probably also felt regret that he was stuck on Aquatar and couldn't swim.
Right? God, he made it past the spear of fish.
Right?
Oh, that
I'd
is.
like to know how they breathe down there.
Oh, I'm sure it's. You played BioShock, right?
No.
And you know what BioShock is, right?
Yes.
I'm sure that Aquatar is probably like Rapture in BioShock.
Oh,
It's
I know that.
probably an underwater city.
Or the Futurama way of there was a suppository that allowed you to breathe.
John, stop reading my mind.
I was thinking more like DuckTales. He had to chew gum.
Or
It's a suppository.
or they got him there, dunked him in the water, then suddenly realized he didn't have gills and reanimated him as a zombie.
Oh no, Zombie Billy.
No, that water,
That explains the lack of aging.
the Youth keeps revived him.
Oh God. Mr. Billy's Aquatarian Youth Hooch and Revival Elixir.
It's what KO35 tears are made of. Same thing.
This is such a turn.
Andros's tears are made of the water.
Oh no.
Oh my God.
They
Well,
drink-
is it that his tears are made of the water, or the water is his tears during all those years he was looking for his sister?
Yes.
He cried a planet
Yes.
and fish
Oh no.
that turned into people and became rangers. Magic
But that would also
KO35
mean-
water.
But that would also be the creation he created Hydra Hog.
Well, I can see that. Not all of his
all of his
decisions
dark
are good ones.
emotions. No.
We should save the stuff for the headcanon podcast.
It practically writes itself, though.
Before we get back, before we continue Tangent Force, does anyone else have any more thoughts on Once and Always?
I think I'm good.
I guess I kind of want to leave it as like I think I need a rewatch right now. I'd say maybe 5 out of 10 because, like I said, I thought it was just there was stuff I liked and there was stuff I hated. But talking about it, like some of the stuff plays in my mind better. There were a few things I would have changed, but it was definitely an homage to season 1 when you know.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
We also got to take a moment for poor Alpha 8.
Poor Alpha 8.
He got shafted so bad.
Pour out the Youth Hooch for Alpha 8.
I'll tell you what, if there's one thing I wouldn't want to be in the Power Rangers universe, it's an alpha robot.
Yeah. They get it so rough.
They do.
I mean, at least 9 in 30 years isn't bad.
Poor Harvey Garvey too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Most,
mean, it's a great
most
way to.
random reference ever.
Right?
Yeah, right? I mean,
Because
like,
his actor is very much not dead.
yes. Oh, I wonder if he actually, the actor for Harvey Garvey, was the voice for Minotaur.
That's a good question. I know that he did voice stuff on the show.
Yeah.
I'd probably give Once and Always like an 8 out of 10 or something. I enjoyed it a lot. The nitpicks didn't take too much away from me, so.
Well, I mean, as a Billy fan, it was good if you were watching it really just for Billy.
Well, my prediction with how big of a role he played in the special, especially now that JDF has passed, I'm betting David Yost becomes the face of the franchise.
I'd like that.
I suspect that that's where they're going with that, and that works. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it can't be Austin. He's going to be in jail before long.
Or at least he can't go out of the country to film stuff.
That's true.
We get a Forever Blue special because I wouldn't mind seeing more of Billy and Rocky again.
You gotta get Steve Cardenas to acknowledge his days as a Blue Ranger. He doesn't like when you walk up to him at a con and say, "I really loved you as the Blue Ranger." He likes to be remembered as Red. And
But he was better as Blue.
He was much better as Blue. He got to have an actual character and I think an important character on the team because he was the everyman member of the team.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was the relatable one.
Right. I do want to see. I would love to see all the Dino Blues, because like you'd get Ethan and Billy and blanking on his name, but Yoda.
Coda.
Yes.
And Ollie.
Oh yeah.
And that would be a fun group of Blue Rangers. Coda would definitely be the odd man out on that one.
3 nerds and a caveman.
You don't know that he wasn't a nerd in his time. Maybe he was.
Okay.
Maybe he was the Billy of the Stone Age.
Okay,
Right.
3 brilliant guys and a brilliant caveman, maybe.
Hey, he could have created the wheel.
And I'm pretty sure he created the hamburger.
It was a Bronco burger or Bronto burger.
3 nerds and a caveman. Sounds like a sitcom.
Yes, it does.
Any last thoughts from you, Marlon?
I'd give about a 7.5. Again, didn't really hurt anything, but just feel like it raised a few more questions than it answered. Still really enjoyed it. But I do hope they actually do more with the characters and how this direction. I really do hope we see more of Min and see her grow. And just, see what they do with this. Now they kind of set it up. Hopefully it's just not a one and done deal.
Right?
It'll probably depend on how well the special does.
I mean,
Yeah.
they did about Zordon coming back. But there are the other evil people who get there. I mean, you'd have to imagine they could do another Lord Zed on top of what we already got back because of how Zed came back.
Oh God.
There's technically 2 Zeds in the universe right now. You got or technically 3 if you want to think about it. You have the good version of him, you have the evil version of him, and then you have the original evil version of him that was pulled out of the good guy. Because the one in Dino Fury was pulled when he was at his most evil.
Yeah.
So he's from the past.
Yeah.
So we had current Rita wanting to go back from the past, but we have past Zed in the current.
Yes.
Yep.
Is that how that worked?
Time Force really should be having a conniption fit right now.
Yes.
I just thought Zed got revived.
No.
Well, the tricky part is because they do state that it was him revived from when he was his most evil, but here's what they don't say. What they mean by revived. Did they go back and pull him out of his timeline? Did they create a new Zed and just infuse it with his spirit? Did they clone him? I mean, they're really, really kind of vague on that whole revive terminology. Because if they pulled him out of his timeline, that creates all kinds of problems.
Mm-hmm. Like I said,
What's that, Marlon?
I said, if they pulled him out of time like that, Time Force should be having a fucking conniption right now, be like and jumping in.
Yes.
Because that's all kinds of problems right there.
Yeah.
Well, but if they pulled him out of the timeline, the butterfly effect might have eliminated Time Force.
Yeah.
Hell, it might have also brought Aisha back from the past and eliminated Tanya.
We have 2 parallel timelines. Technically 3 if you count the comic book.
That's its own continuity. We don't bring that up.
Well, that's why I said it was a different timeline altogether, too.
Okay.
Well, but the comic books even have multiple timelines because the Tommy thing that introduces JJ is its own timeline, which apparently syncs up with the television show. The Pink Ranger miniseries that takes place after she left the team, her little solo miniseries, it's not in the same timeline as the main comic book. And then on top of it, within the main comic book, you have multiple timelines.
So Time Force already has a conniption.
It's on life support right now.
This is all Dragon's fault.
Yes. But I was going to say with Lord Zed that maybe in Cosmic Fury, maybe they might explain tying it back into Once and Always that maybe they did use his particles left over to revive him.
That
would make sense, yeah, if they did it that way.
I hope they will, but we're going to get a perfectly good explanation.
Explosion.
Kaboom.
Yes.
But hopefully maybe Billy will show up in Cosmic Fury.
we can hope.
Mhm.
Or,
Yeah.
maybe one of the Aquatarian Rangers? Or Sistria?
You never know.
Right?
I was going to say Trey, but I think the triplets kind of fucked that up themselves.
Oh, yeah, they got themselves canceled.
Yeah.
Well, Cosmic Fury would have been filmed, I think, before any of that happened, but
Yeah.
I still didn't expect them back.
See, what's going to happen is Billy's going to teleport in, say, I need to correct the timeline. Kill, kill, murder, kill, kill.
I knew we were going to sneak out back in.
Of course.
It had
And
to be
that's what she said.
Naughty.
So, anything else, or should we wrap it up?
I'm good.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that about covers it.
Alrighty then. So, thank you for joining us. We'll talk more Power, Kamen Rider, Super Sentai, maybe some Ultraman and some other Toku things here in the future. Thanks for listening.
Give us a follow at Henshin Infinity on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And have a good one.